Look around any major city today, and you will see concrete, steel, and electric light dominating the landscape. We've built machines that compute at the speed of light and structures that touch the clouds. Tracing our biological history backward reveals a surprisingly messy family tree. If you follow our genetic code far enough down the trunk, you will eventually arrive at the last universal common ancestor, a single-celled organism floating in a primordial ocean. The remnants of that shared history are still written inside us. We actually share 73% of our DNA with zebrafish. More than 20 different hominin species once walked this planet. Our lineage is not the result of a single straight line of progress, but a precarious struggle that left us as the sole survivors of a sprawling family tree. Our current position at the top of the food chain is the result of a highly specific chain reaction of environmental accidents and biological gambles. Roughly 7 million years ago, a massive climate shift began to dry out the African continent. The dense, humid jungles that covered the region withered away, replaced by expansive, dry savannas. Primate species that had spent millions of years living safely in the high tree canopy suddenly found themselves without a home. Early species like Australopithecus were forced out of the vanishing forests and onto the ground. The tall savanna grass blocked their view of apex predators, forcing them to stand upright to survey their surroundings. The fossil record confirms this physiological shift. The shapes of the knees and hip bones found in skeletons from this era prove these ancestors were committing to a life entirely on two legs. Standing upright became a mandatory biological adaptation to survive the vanishing canopy. Walking exclusively on two legs permanently freed our ancestors' hands. Homo habilis used those newly available hands to strike rocks together, crafting the first sharp stone tools. These crude blades provided access to a critical food source, meat and marrow. Our ancestors could scrape flesh off carcasses and crack open heavy bones abandoned by large carnivores to extract the high-calorie marrow hidden inside. This flowchart demonstrates the biological trade-off that followed. Raw plants require a massive digestive tract to break down. Because dense meat and marrow take far less energy to process, our ancestors' digestive systems shrink. The body redirected that surplus energy upward, fueling physical expansion in the brain. Homo erectus gained a transformative advantage with the control of fire. Cooking acts as an external stomach, pre-digesting food and breaking down nutrients before they even enter the body. This increased our net energy gain, allowing the human brain to grow to its maximum biological capacity. Human technology directly reshaped our internal anatomy. By outsourcing the work of digestion to stone and flame, our ancestors triggered a cycle of growth that pushed brain capacity far beyond our ancestors. Armed with larger brains, early humans began migrating out of Africa. In the higher latitudes of Europe and Asia, they encounter highly intelligent cousin species, specifically the Neanderthals. Neanderthals possessed distinct physical adaptations for surviving a harsh environment. They developed shorter, wider bodies to retain heat in the cold, and noticeably larger eyes to process the dim, low light of northern winters. Around 40,000 years ago, the climate underwent a sudden, extreme drop in temperature. The large game animals the Neanderthals relied on for meat died off, plunging the species into a severe survival bottleneck. This schematic comparison of their brain structures reveals a fatal vulnerability. To support their large eyes in the dark, the visual cortex dominated the Neanderthal brain. Homo sapiens dedicated that same neurological real estate to social and abstract processing, which enabled them to build complex communication and trade networks. The hyper-specialized biology of the Neanderthals failed them during rapid environmental change. Homo sapiens survived as resilient generalists, leaning on diverse diets and wide social networks to weather the freeze. While we are the last human species standing, genetic sequencing shows that our ancestors interbred with those cousin species before they vanished. Many modern populations still carry around 2% Neanderthal DNA. Biological evolution didn't stop at the end of the Ice Age. As humans spread across different continents, highly specific regional adaptations emerged to deal with local environments. The ability to safely digest milk into adulthood, lactose tolerance, is a very recent mutation. It maps almost perfectly onto populations in Scandinavia and parts of India that historically relied heavily on berry farming cultures. In extreme cold weather populations, the epicanthic fold developed. This extra layer of fat padding around the eyes serves as a physical defense mechanism, shielding the eyeball from freezing winds and blinding snow glare. Even over the last century, sudden shifts in access to improved nutrition have rapidly altered our physical dimensions, driving up the average human height in nations like South Korea. Human evolution is no longer entirely at the mercy of raw nature. Our bodies are now being shaped just as powerfully by the cultures, diets, and technologies we invent for ourselves.